yogis! So this little module is about getting into our hips, our hamstrings, and our IT bands. So you can use blocks, you can use books, whatever's available. Also, you might want to pad your knee in Baby Hanuman or runner stretch, so you might want to have a towel or a blanket nearby. All right, so we're going to start with our hamstrings. So go ahead and step your right leg forward. Again, you can pad your back knee. I'm going to. Right leg's going to step forward. You're going to line up your left knee underneath your left hip. Slide your right hip back so it's in line with your left, so your pelvis is nice and square. Your right leg is extended, and again, you can come up onto blocks for a little bit more space, or you can bring your hands down to the floor. You're going to try not to hyperextend your right knee. You're going to give yourself a little micro bend and drag your right heel back. As you drag your right heel back, tone your inner thighs and really press down into your left foot. So your legs are really active here. Pull up on the lowest belly. You want to lengthen your heart forward towards your toes. It's very easy to want to like sickle out your ankle, or kind of like your pinky finger might, or your pinky toe might stretch more forward than your big toe. Really press through that big toe now to kind of straighten that ankle out. And you're just going to breathe here. Remember that dragging back of the heel helps engage the hamstrings, so you're getting a safer stretch. Then you can modify, or not modify, but you can up the ante on this one, kind of getting into all three hamstrings. You kind of sway your hips over to the right, and then sway your hips over to the left. You might feel it also in your calf muscles. And step your right leg back, left leg forward. Set yourself up, right knee underneath the right hip, right toes really pressing down. You can also take the top of your right foot down to the floor, but just don't let it not do anything. Really press it down so you have a solid foundation. Left leg extends forward. Doesn't have to be entirely straight either. You can have a nice bend to it. It's the dragging back of that left heel and the lengthening forward that gives you that hamstring stretch. Okay, so you're pressing out through that left big toe mound. Tone the inner thighs and lengthen. Okay, you can stay up on blocks. Your hands can be down on the ground, or your elbows can even come down towards the earth. As long as you're keeping this extension and you've got that left hip back, right hip forward. Right hip forward. Again, sway the hips over to the left, sway the hips over to the right. Back and forth a few times. Just take your time. If you find a spot that is particularly tight or stubborn, you may want to stay there and breathe into it. Hamstrings are really a sore spot, a tight spot for a lot of people, so use your breath. Then go ahead and step your left leg back. We are going to come up to standing, so go ahead and move your blanket out of the way if you were using it. And you're going to grab your blocks. Again, you don't have to use them, but it's helpful. You're going to step your right leg in front of your left. Try and line up your toes as best as possible. It's okay if they don't line up. And then you're going to lengthen forward. This is getting a little bit more into the IT bands, into the hips. So you can stay here. You can even bend your knees a little bit. You can start to walk your blocks over to the right. You're going to kind of bump your hips over to the left. Keep pressing evenly down into both soles of the feet, toning the inner thighs, lowest belly up and in, and try and relax the shoulders, relax the neck, relax the throat. Again, long inhales in and long inhales out. Practicing the Ujjayi breath, if that's in your practice today, or if you'd like to do that, or just nice, even breathing. And then walk the blocks back to center and switch out the legs. Left leg steps in front of the right, line up the toes, and inhale and lengthen, give yourself lots of space. Pressing the hips back and the heart forward, and then fold. Then you're going to walk your blocks over, this time towards the left, and kind of press the hips over to the right. And as you press them over to the right, it's not just out to the side, it's also like a little booty pop up. So your sit bones are widening back behind you to help give that stretch a little bit further up into the glutes, further up into the hips and the IT band, the start of the IT band. Okay, IT band starts here at the top of the greater trochanter and comes all the way down to the knee. So it's that really sensitive tendon that we have at the side of our thigh. And walk your blocks back to center, uncross the legs, and coming back down to seated. So you can come into, you can do this sitting on a chair, you can do this sitting cross-legged, you can do this with one leg out extended. So this is therapy for the IT band. You're going to insert your fingers all the way up to the webbing of your toes. So each one, I can't fit all of my fingers in, but that's the goal someday. So you're going to create all this space between your toes. It does not feel ideal. And you're going to kind of give your foot a little bit of a squeeze. And then you're going to start to give your feet, like point and flex them and move your toes around and give yourself a couple rotations. This is what I give my clients who are runners, who have IT band issues. Really effective. Just do that a few times. Make sure you do both feet. And probably if it's painful, this is something you should probably do a little bit longer than we're doing here in this video. So I can fit the tops of my fingers, but it's really hard for me to get all the way down to the webbing. It's okay. We're all at one stage of this process. Excuse me. And it's okay if not every finger fits in either. Just work the ones that you can. Relax while you do it, just relaxing your throat, your shoulders. So keeping those long breaths. All right, and after that, kind of rotate out, shake out the wrists, rotate out the ankles, shake out the legs. And then we're going to come into pigeon. So from your tabletop, you can step your right leg forward, walk your right foot over to your left hand, then bring your right knee almost to the outside of your mat. You want it way out, like a big angle, about 45-degree angle out from your hip. And then walk your left foot back, and then squeeze your inner thighs. As you squeeze your inner thighs, your right hip will go back, your left hip will go forward. You're going to press the right foot down into the mat, your right foot, versus, your back right foot, no, your front foot, your right foot, press it into the mat. And then you're going to lift up out of your pelvis, and if this feels intense, stay here. You can always prop up your hip with a block or with a blanket for a little extra support. Then you're going to walk yourself forward. You can come onto forearms, onto the earth, forearms onto your block or your books, whatever you have for support. But your legs remain active. You are working the heck out of them. So right hip back, left knee dragging forward, inner thighs toning, tailbone lengthening down. Lowest belly up and in, and your elbows drag back to lengthen your heart forward, to increase the length of your torso. So there's different points that you can be at with your knees. Go ahead and continue to breathe there for just a few more breaths. The knee joint can be more towards parallel or a little bit more open. If that's the case, your foot's going to be at this really Tadasana foot, flexed and a little bit more parallel with the shin. And you're going to karate chop the pinky edge of your foot into the mat. If your knee joint's a little bit more closed, one's not better than the other, it's just where you feel that biggest stretch, the biggest opening in that external part of your hip. More of the top of your foot's going to be on the floor. You're going to press the top of your foot and your toenails into the floor. So go ahead and come out of that and switch to the other side. Another version of this, this version of pigeon is too intense or just doesn't feel good this morning or today or whenever you're doing this, you can come into figure 4 on your back. So either stay in your front pigeon or come down onto your back, cross your left ankle over your right thigh, flex through both feet, pull the right knee in, and interlace your hands behind that right thigh or in front of your right shin. And breathe. If you're doing figure 4, same actions kind of apply. You're toning your inner thigh, you're lengthening your hips back, you're lengthening the crown of your head, you're pressing your left knee away. Your left foot is very active, your right foot is very active. And then whatever version you're doing, go ahead and release that. Rock and roll yourself up. And that's a little quick hip, hamstring, IT band sequence. So enjoy.